So good morning. It's Sunday, April 21st. It is 2024. And a lot of times I'm shown things in the Word that are just for me. And if I share them, they are at risk of becoming a Matthew 7 type situation where I'm throwing pearls to swine. And that said, I am fully aware this could be a pearl. Could be a pearl. I'm looking it up right now. And it's talking about it in Matthew 7. And it's really, really interesting to me. I believe it's Matthew 7. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's over here in Matthew 7, and humans put the verse 6 on it. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you to pieces. So as I'm sitting here, um, this is just odd to me a little bit. So I'm given this great revelation about Nebuchadnezzar, and I got the word from the Lord to teach something, and then as I sat down to record what it is I thought that I was supposed to teach, I was given Matthew 7, verse 6. So here I sit. Here I sit. Lord, what do you want to talk about with anybody that just may hear this, see this? Clearly, it's not the revelation that you give me about Nebuchadnezzar. That was for me. Okay, Lord. Daniel 4. Um, Daniel 4 is where I started this journey. This is where it all started. I like music. I like to worship with music. I like to praise with music. And there's another in the fire song. There's another in the fire song that's so special to me. And a lot of times I hear the word in music. I try to go look it up. And so this is just kind of a little ramble. And I know if you're listening to this, you're thinking, why am I listening to this? This is just a dude rambling. Get to the, 3 Baptist points. Tell me what you came to say, and let's go eat. And that's just kind of how the world is these days. Sometimes I pause, not for drama, for absorption. Daniel 3, verse 25. Look, he answered. That was Nebuchadnezzar. I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Capital S, capital G. That's where it all started. And for those looking for clues that'll lead you deeper, I'm going to say it this way. Nebuchadnezzar could see like me. He could see beyond the veil. Okay? So I started reading, as I normally do when I go to look for something. I look around the context and the full story. I started reading about Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. I've never read the book of Daniel. Some of you know, some of you don't. I grew up Mennonite. I ran from the Lord, ran from my calling. Didn't really truly get saved till 2017. Wasn't baptized till 2022. That's another lesson for another day. But man on the cross didn't go through baptism, didn't go through all them things. He just knew the Lord. So your personal relationship with Christ is very important over what man says. Another lesson, another day, another ramble. Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. And he starts talking about all these people that he come in to talk about his dream. And I'm in Daniel 4, verse 8. But at last, Daniel came before me. His name is Belteshazzar. According to the name of my God in him. According to the name of my God, semicolon. In him is the Spirit of the Holy God. This is Nebuchadnezzar talking about his dream and wanting to have it interpreted. And it's so odd to me. Daniel came before me, parentheses. His name is Belteshazzar. According to the name of my God, semicolon. In him is the Spirit of the Holy God. And I told him the dream, saying, Belshazzar, chief of the magicians, because I know that the Spirit of the Holy God is in you, and no secret troubles you. Explain to me the visions of my dream that I have seen in its interpretation. Now, hold up. That's what I was saying to God. Hold up. His name is what? I thought his name was Daniel. What? Why does the king, Nebuchadnezzar, call Daniel Belteshazzar? It's a question that I ask God. And, sometimes the answer is in the Bible. He doesn't have to directly answer you. He doesn't have to directly say, oh, it's because of this, my son. Sometimes he says, keep reading. It is written. Why? So I hunted around after I heard that. God told me to keep reading. I better sit here a while. This is going to be another one of those days of longer than 15 minutes with the Lord, apparently. Busy man and all. Cracks me up. I go all the way back to Daniel 1. I read, I'm in the Dr. Jeremiah study Bible, by the way. It's the New King James Version. I read the introduction that he has written. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. It's out of Daniel 12:2-3, and that's what this book, the author of the compilation of it, decided to put as your focus points. So I read the little back history. For me, it's very important to know the context of things. And so I'm just cruising through reading. Right? Sometimes you just gotta read. Never read the book of Daniel. Why? Because I'm a baby Christian. I'm still a baby. Am I qualified to teach you? The word is. All I gotta do is point you to it. It's nothing about me. So there we are. Daniel and his friends obey God. The very first lines in the book of Daniel. And it's a little title for the section 1. And It just gives you a little history all in one verse. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with some of the articles of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar. All right, we got to stop. We got to stop. What is the land of Shinar? So footnotes in the historical texts, Shinar is Babylon. Oh, are you telling me that they robbed God's house and took the articles to Babylon? Yeah, it says it right there in verse 2. He brought the articles into the treasure house of his lowercase g God. I wrote the note in my Bible, and some people don't believe in writing notes in a Bible. They think it's too holy to add notes. Uh, this is my instruction manual. This is my notes to myself. This is my Bible, so I write notes to myself. I underline it. I sometimes tear pages out and carry them with me. I'm an odd duck, and it's okay. And that sound is cookies. So, we're back. Cookies ain't quite ready to come out of the oven yet, so we're going to leave them a little bit longer. And, so I'm just reading, just cruising through. Then the king being Nebuchadnezzar, instructed Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, to bring some of the children of Israel, some of the king's descendants, and some of the nobles, young men, in whom there was no blemish, but good looking, gifted in all wisdom, possessing knowledge, and quick to understand, who had ability to serve in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the language and literature of the Chaldeans. So not only did he rob, God's house, take the articles to Babylon, he took some hostages, some very, bloodline important hostages. It says some of the king's descendants, some of the nobles, some of the children of Israel. It's just kind of interesting. And the king appointed for them a daily provision of the king's delicacies and the wine which he drank, and 3 years of training for them. Yeah, I know. I'm an odd duck. I just read 3 years of training for them, and these descendants of the king of Jerusalem were being trained for 3 years. Kind of how Christ trained the disciples 3 years. Very interesting little link there. So at the end of that time, they might serve before the king. Now, from among those sons of Judah were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And I stopped right there. I just had to stop. I was like, oh, what? I thought those were names of angels. Where did I get that from? Probably just, internet search, whatever. I don't know. I just, in my mind, my understanding was Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were names of angels. The book of Daniel records it as his 3 friends. Interesting. Verse 7 says, to them the chief of the eunuchs gave new names. He gave Daniel the name Belteshazzar, to Hananiah Sadrach, to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. Wait a minute. Hold up. Are you telling me that this song that we sing about the 3 men in the fire were Daniel's friends? Lord, are you telling me that Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, wasn't their names in the fire? Are you telling me that's not three men in the fire? That's the way the songs sing it. That's the way the world sees it. The three men in the fire. I see, Lord. You want the world to know that the king who did not serve you, Nebuchadnezzar, tried to change their identity by giving them names. And you can continue to read, but I think right now the most important part about this is the three men in the fire and their names. There is a historically speaking note in my study Bible that rocked me, and I wrote next to it, "Teach this in 2024." I'm going to check them cookies. Oh, yes, the cookies are done. We are preparing today to have some guests at the house, and we're going to go out and look at some property for Gateway to Heaven Ministries, and it's a very special day to us. So that's why I'm making cookies at 6 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, back to the real story. Nebuchadnezzar did not simply want to educate these young men so they would think like Babylonians. He wanted to brainwash them into being Babylonians. To accomplish this, he did three things. He emasculated them. Although this is uncertain, the king may have made Daniel and his three friends into eunuchs. I'm not well learned on that procedure, and I don't know if I have the guts to search that out. I just know emasculated means to take your male parts and make it so that you can't reproduce. That's my understanding of it. It may be wrong. You can search that if you feel led to. Number two, he intended to obligate them. Nebuchadnezzar's real purpose in offering Daniel and his friends the royal lifestyle was to sway their commitment to him. He wanted them to become so accustomed to their good things in the palace that they would never be happy going back to their old life and beliefs. That's interesting, huh? Number three, he sought to enculturate them. In an effort to make them worthy representatives of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar took away their God-honoring Jewish names and gave them all hostages, and gave all the hostages new names that honored the gods of Babylon. This right here is what I'm supposed to teach on. It's just four names. This whole ramble was to get you to see this. Daniel means God is my judge. Nebuchadnezzar named him Belteshazzar, which means Baal, protect his life. Hananiah means Yahweh is gracious. Nebuchadnezzar named him Sadrach, which means the command of a coup. Mishael, Mishael. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that. Oh, Lord. Yeah? Is that the name of David's first wife? Is it? It's possible. We'll have to check out that link there later. Mishael. Who is like God? Interesting. So far we got God is my judge. Yahweh is gracious. And who is like God? So this Nebuchadnezzar dude, he names Mishael Meshach. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So it's Meshach. Who is what a coup is? Oh, yeah. That's very interesting that, he's just twisting their identity of what God knows them as. Azariah means Yahweh is my helper. He became Abednego. And he was named after the god Nebo. That's it. That's the whole lesson. That's the whole lesson. That was it. Um, so we uh, we sing songs, and I still really love those songs. Another One in the Fire. Love those songs, but the deeper meaning behind it means so much more now. When Nebuchadnezzar gave them a new name, gave them a new identity, so to speak, in the Babylonian kingdom. And yet, when he sentenced them to jump on in that little fire, hmm, hmm, just wild. So it all has to go back to Nebuchadnezzar and what I was given about him and his dreams and his being able to see beyond the veil. Um, hmm, hmm. Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. So I don't know how much time you guys spend with the Lord and His Word. Hmm. So pretty much the gist of Daniel 1, 2, 3, and 4 is King Nebuchadnezzar has got a gifts of the fruit of the Spirit. Isn't that interesting? He gets to see beyond the veil. It all ties into something. Maybe a deeper lesson another day. But you should read it. You should read the Word. You should go see what it says. You should go see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We have no need to answer you in this matter, because that wasn't their names. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And the king Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste and spoke, saying to his counselors, "Did we not cast three men bound into the middle of this fire?" They answered, "True, O king." And here's what's interesting. Also true. Nebuchadnezzar could see beyond the veil. "Look," he answered, "I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God." Son of God. Nebuchadnezzar could see the Lord of hosts, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, all the way back there in Daniel. That may be the pearl. Maybe the pearl that I'm not supposed to give out. It's only for me. I don't know. If you listen this long, maybe you earned that pearl. So, my understanding has changed. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. God is my judge. Yahweh is gracious. Who is like God? Yahweh is my helper. Oh, Lord, you are good. You reveal the truth in the Word.